The Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers with hosts Danielle Langlois, Brian Casey, Sam Couturi, and yours truly, Bart Hansen. Let's see what we get into today.
So professional. I couldn't even hear the wine.
I mean, we're slightly distracted here. I know that's probably very hard to believe.
For the first time ever.
For the first time ever. Well, the first time in 2025.
That we've been distracted?
Yeah.
What year is it?
2025.
Welcome to the Winemakers Podcast, everybody.
Full boat.
Full boat.
And plus.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got people that send in questions, too. But we're doing a wrap.
We're doing the wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Wrapped.
Wrapped. Jasmine, what do you
Jasmine
need?
wants Chablis.
Yes.
Yes.
I am going to attempt to make some sort of post that has a reference to every one of our shows this year. I went back and looked at all the year. The year was pretty good.
We had a good year?
Yeah.
What are some highlights? Bart, don't just...
I even forgot that we already did DTC. Like, we did it so long ago. That was like one of the first things we did this year. And
right.
It's in January.
going out to dinner with Karen McNeil. And that's one of my favorite photos is, I think we're out to dinner and there's the bottle of Adutet sitting on the table with her in the background. And it just matches perfectly with her red hair.
So I have a question because we fielded audience
Danielle
questions,
Langlois.
but this is kind of an obvious one. But who was your favorite guest that you did this year? And I can go first since I've been thinking about the question.
Good, because who did we have on this year?
I really loved talking with Lindsay Hoops.
Oh yeah. Loved that episode.
I mean, I was just amazed by her. I thought she was like this really strong, amazing woman. I was in awe of her, really, and I felt for her fight over there in Napa, just trying to be, a family-run vineyard, trying to make her way through the wine industry. That was definitely one of my favorite episodes. And if you haven't listened to that, please go back and have a listen. I mean, there are surprises that I was.
And that fight goes on.
Yeah, fight goes on.
I think there's shit going down. Right? Like, it seems to have progressed since we talked to her.
Yeah. Maybe a 2026 goal should be a revisit.
An update from her, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this new law with allowing tastings in vineyards would help them at all. Because they have a vineyard there.
They have
I want that law to come to Sonoma.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Wait, isn't it statewide?
It's statewide, but basically, we're ready for some. Okay.
Yeah.
The way that Sonoma County currently is dealing with it is that they have some special events permit that you can get, but it's like $1,000 and
Per tasting?
per event, so for permit, and you have to get a permit for every single one.
So your tasting is now $1,000 plus cost of wine.
And not to and actually to get the permit, there has to be all sorts of all the parking studies and traffic, and it's just the bullshit that you would have to put on a music festival or something.
Yeah.
So we had a Jordan Kibblestedt, shout out Jordan, put together a lunch last week with the new, as of this year, County Supervisor Rebecca Hermosillo. Ding that. And it was the first question that came up. Because I was the first person to ask a question. And so what's up with it's AB 720 that this law is. And every county is sort of facing it differently. And I think that's kind of, classic California. There's a state law, but every county gets to do what they want with it. So we are going to put together a group and bring our recommendations to Rebecca, to Supervisor Hermosillo, and the planning department and Permit Sonoma to come up with a permit that's a realistic, $100 like a normal permit to have an event, then you get the ABC license, and you're good to go and do things wherever you want, whenever you want, within reason. So it's something to be looking for, and and if you're a wonkish wine consumer or in the industry, definitely stay up on what AB 720, which can open a lot of doors for us.
For small wineries, small vineyard people who just don't have the capital or time to go and open a tasting room or rent a tasting room on the square or something like that.
I think it's more than that, Daniel. I think that in the current world of the wine economy and wine sales and marketing and all these things, to have more access to more interesting experiential
that too,
tastings and getting people out. I don't think it matters if obviously it could be really beneficial if you don't have a space, but I think as an industry we need this and this to be operating
it'll benefit people with tasting rooms as well, because now you can go out to their vineyards.
You can go to the vineyards and you don't have to have and this is like you don't have to have a type 2 at the location. And that's the thing that matters the most, is you can go to anywhere that you control and do a tasting. So and sell wine.
I mean, I'm gonna be a little bit on the cynical side, as that will work great as long as all of a sudden you don't have to have ADA,
and that's
bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's the difference between the way that Sonoma's doing it currently, like the default, which is these the basically festival permits,
right?
So there's work to do.
Yeah.
But that's the coolest thing, though, is being out in the middle of a vineyard, drinking a wine from the grapes that you're sitting next to or looking at.
It inherently tastes the best.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like you're in the terroir.
Yeah, in the tasting room, we're explaining those things, but when you're in the vineyard, you can just point.
Tailgating takes on a whole other connotation.
What's up, Isabel Gassier in the house?
Hi.
Jet-lagged Isabel.
Freshly landed.
Yes.
And what are you going to be doing? How long are you here for? What are you...
3 days.
What's the plan?
Should I just answer for you? You can't talk.
She doesn't even know.
Just checking in on the wines.
I'm here until Sunday, checking in on the 2025s and blending the 2025 rosés, white, and maybe some of the kind of ready to drink reds. It's going to be a small blend, but probably for the boxed red wine. And just short and sweet.
In and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
Back in time for the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Warmer better weather in Nîmes when you left, or here when you landed?
I don't know. I wasn't home.
Oh, all right. Better weather in wherever you were when you left.
Did you do that conference?
No, that's in January.
Okay.
No, I was just on small holiday in southern Spain. So the weather was quite nice there.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I saw riding horses on a beach at sunset video.
Oh my God.
What was the
was
best
nice.
thing you ate in Spain? Don't overthink it.
I'm not overthinking it. It's just Spanish food is very casual. And it's very much comfort food.
Right.
And so discovered a specialty from Sevilla that's called piri piri, which is kind of like a little chicken and bacon and cheese sandwich that's actually really delicious.
Yeah.
And it's a tapas I had never tasted.
Yeah. Cool.
So
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on your favorite guest this year, guys?
I think I thought of one.
Okay.
The guys from Lost Draw.
Oh, the Texans. I wasn't
The
here
Texans,
for that one.
which was a completely random podcast. I think they were here for the Roan Rangers, and I was at a dinner the night before at Swim Club, ended up sitting down next to them, and when we started talking, I was totally intrigued, and they were willing to come in the next day and talk about the wines. It was just cool to see what was going on there, and the wines were really good. So that was kind of exciting. And they were Texans, so there's it's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
Bart?
Me,
I'm deferring. Kick it to Jasmine before.
I know my answer.
Brandon Connolly for me. I love talking about the distilling. I'm kind of having fun discovering
Everybody's taking all the good
discovering
ones.
cocktails these days. So I really enjoyed that and look forward to going down there sometime. We should as a team.
And then wasn't there another brand in from Coteau Pavot?
Yeah, yeah.
Brian.
Those wines were
Brian Conley.
freaking fantastic.
So my next question was going to be like, what was the most surprising wine that you tasted on the podcast that a guest brought? And one of those wines came to mind for me was the orange wine that he had.
Wasn't it a Grenache skin contact?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about Brian is when he went down that tech hole about ML.
I'm using an ML that has lower enzymatic properties to cause allergic reactions this year.
Yeah.
So that changed the way I made wine.
I mean, I
talk to him.
Again, I learned something new, and I realized exactly how old school I am. I mean, old I am. Old.
I realize how old I am every time I try and do something on Instagram. So,
and then just one last one I think it's got to be mentioned is Karen McNeil. I mean, how lucky are we to get like one of the eminent wine professionals on our show?
Oh, and a great way to throw an extra plug to DTC Wine Symposium.
That was
January
exactly what
19th,
I was thinking.
2026, Monterey, California. Early bird tickets no longer available.
Come hang out with the jellyfish.
All right,
Sam.
the one that popped when Danielle said Lindsay Hoops is the sort of like other end of the Napa Valley spectrum, and Alicia Mondavi.
yeah.
I thought that was a great show, and surpassed my expectations of what that conversation was going to be like.
I completely agree with you.
I know that was one of those ones that someone recommended
there was some
to
like
us,
publicist
and I was
involved
like,
in that shit.
and you never know how those are going to go. And then when you look up the wines, when they were talking about the wines they were bringing, they were like $8 wines that you sell in like Safeway or something. And we were like, I don't know how this is going to go. But she was fucking great.
Yeah.
100%.
And working on all kinds of stuff. So we got to try some of the higher end wines, some of that. Some of the, just everyday drinking wine.
Yeah, no, I think it behooves all of us to keep our eye on what's going on over there in that side of the Mondavi family, the Charles Krug side.
I mean, when she starts talking about history, it's like broken wine glass, ding, 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 and my uncle, my cousin, and yeah, it was kind of crazy.
So I got a question from listeners. Oh, sorry, sorry, Daniel.
It's all good. My
Jasmine
favorite.
actually listens to the podcast.
Yes, I do. And you only got me for a couple more minutes because I have to be on more DTC Zooms to make sure your show in January is going to be great. My favorite episode was the Kathy Corison and having her daughters on, and just to me we were so lucky to get her and to hear like it's already a hard industry for women, and to hear how much harder and how she like just really had to stick her neck out there to kind of pave the way for her daughters and everyone else.
Stuck to her guns. Making wines for Robert Parker, she was like, "No, I'm making wines that I want to make."
Absolutely, yeah. That was one of my favorites.
Getting recognition like over the last 5-10 years for making these incredibly austere Cabernets.
Did she bring her Riesling for you to try?
She did not.
I was not I was a listener for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, she did
She makes a really fun Riesling. If anybody, you have to join her club. But whatever, you get to drink Kathy Corson cabs. Yeah. But she makes a really fun Riesling.
That's good to know. She was definitely talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to some sort of women for wine sense event, and it was her and her daughters talking about just being women in the wine industry, and she poured us some of her Riesling. It was really great.
I was able to like see what she was talking about, though. I felt like she painted a really good picture of her childhood. And then I agree with you with the Lindsay Hoops episode. I loved it so much. And my husband and I had to do a drive, and I was like, you got to hear this podcast. And he was obsessed.
I remember you texted me after. You were like, what?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is a double listen for sure.
Yeah.
A double listen.
Did
we get 2 downloads for that, Ed?
Probably not.
Because
no.
it's not a native download.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, I don't think that's the right term, but it does acknowledge like if it's been downloaded already or listened already from that spot. So anyway,
Argument for VPNs.
Or next time Do it on Ian's phone.
All right, Bart, what was your question?
Okay, so this is
scary.
With all the talk of the grapes that went unharvested in 2025, just curious if that's across the board or if it's one or two varieties that are obviously overplanted, and could that lead to replanting other varieties that might be starting to come into demand?
That's a good question.
I got a text message from MJ in the middle of that and stopped paying attention. Will you say the question again?
Okay, so they're wondering if, with all the talk of what was left unharvested, the stuff that was the stuff that was pulled out, is it one or two varieties, or is it just across the board all varieties? And then in that, when things are replanted and things that are being replanted already, do you think it's different varieties, or is it going right back to the same varieties? It's like their new stuff coming online.
I want to hear Isabel's answer.
No, I think it's tricky to answer because we're already in a space where there's, 1 to 2 varietals that are massively planted compared to the others. And so I think statistically you're bound to see mainly those 2 varietals. Or
what are they?
I agree.
Well, that was like a smart
for Sonoma,
answer. Can I give my
think
answer?
there's a lot of Zinfandel that'll be left out. I think in Napa, obviously, it's Cab.
Yeah.
I do think it's a good question, and it's good food for thought to start diversifying maybe some of the varietals that are grown here.
I think it's kind of like the chicken and the egg comment, because it's like, really, what are wineries not buying anymore? And they're not buying the wines that maybe don't sell as much as, they're gonna stick to wines that sell and the wines that people drink, right? And so they're gonna drop maybe some passion projects that aren't selling, and so maybe they're already dropping some varietals that are a little bit more obscure, or they're gonna drop the fruit that they use for maybe making a second label wine or something like that. They're going to leave that out there. But I think what's really driving the wine industry is what people are buying off the shelf. So if you want to see more wines with, weirder varietals, then you gotta take the money out of your pocket and go search those out and buy them.
Yeah, and I think all that conversation is very different, as on the purchasing side, is very different than our little bubble we live in here in Sonoma, right? Like, you get across the country, for those of you who've been out in the marketplace, even though you're out pimping Grenache, if you weren't there, are people still drinking Pinot and Cab?
I think there is no varietal that is immune to what is currently going on. So I think, and you look around, I think a more interesting question than what varietals got left out there are getting pulled out, especially with what got left out there this year, is how it was farmed. How much of that, like, driving by the most terrible, horrendous farming, you're like, oh, well, yeah, there's 27 acres of Pinot Noir that didn't get harvested, or Cabernet, or whatever the hell it is. The broken record, but the sorbet conversation, the organically grown sector of wine is the only place where there's sales growth. Right. Like 8% growth this year or something like that. Right. So that's more of a driving factor, I hope. But as far as what's getting replanted, it's nothing. There's nobody's doing any putting back in right now.
I mean, it's really interesting to say that, Sam, but there's off of Carragher, a grower tore out a huge block that was all for the Wagner, one of the families of Wagner in the past. I think it was Pinot, and they immediately went straight into putting up all new irrigation, all new trellising, and they're going right back into it. Now, that man has more money than God, and so maybe he figures it doesn't cost him that much. He's going to spend it anyway.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that it's a great time to redevelop.
Yeah.
Right? If you have the money, it's a great time to redevelop.
I know. We see properties up for sale that already have existing contracts, where you can buy a piece of property in Russian River and they've got contracts set up with like William Sellium or Costa Brown, and we saw them just sitting, for weeks on the market.
Did all the fruit get picked? That's the question. You can have a contract with one of those big guys and they take 10 tons. But
I
this
also-
year you had 27.
I also think some of the fruit got left on the vine this year just due to the vintage. I mean, there was fruit out there that did not get ripe and that was rejected by the winery because they didn't hit the parameters that were lined in the contract. And then, it rained and then the fruit was compromised. So that was also a factor this vintage.
It was just a good year to make that as excuse.
That's true.
So can I piggyback something on that? So could the decrease in demand and oversupply lead to lower price entry for independent winemakers to obtain quality grapes? So, and on that note, let's think about it this way. If part of the problem with the wine industry is everybody saying we need a lower entry level to bring in new consumers, maybe this is a good time to have for established wineries to try to, find some contracts of lesser priced fruit with things in the way they are and start to build another, a more entry level line maybe. Anyone thoughts?
Enrico Valentine. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think part of it is that when you have, a lot of the people that Enterprise farms for people that have typically smaller size vineyards, for them, it's like they want to grow cab, right? Everybody wants to grow cab because they can sell the fruit for the most amount of money. They can sell the wine for the most amount of money. So experimentation is kind of either has to get driven by someone like Danielle. You guys have some Gamay and some Syrah planted or whatever, or it's got to be a larger winery like the Wagners or Camus or something to decide, hey, we're going to lean into the Petite Syrah because we're making so much money from our special select. Now we can kind of do something else or anyway.
I mean, for that whole conversation, what I really hope is people are just pulling out underperforming vineyards, like that our name Sonoma is on it. And if you're, putting bad fruit out there, like that should be the stuff that's getting ripped out and not replanted and let that soil heal. And yeah.
Also, we need, for the wine industry to survive, this is not the fun part of the conversation, but we need businesses to be sustainable. Economically. And so, making the right farming choices. I mean, to go into Jasmine's point, I hope what's being pulled out is vineyards that are underperforming also on a, tonnage or vigor or just, missing vines, and that we're starting to kind of make sure we're keeping nice vineyards that are producing great grapes and are farmed in a way that everybody profits from it.
Profit.
Also the soil needs to profit
from it.
There we go.
No, I mean profit as in, you can.
Yeah.
Everybody means nature too.
Yeah.
You can benefit mentally and physically also, Sam. All right.
Brett George is texting me a whole bunch of questions. Should we get into a couple of Brett George questions?
Is that first of Brett George or George Brett? George Brett, don't call me Brett George.
He's still texting. He must be listening to this conversation as we speak. 2026, greatest vintage ever? Sorry.
What?
Wait,
that's a John question. Yeah.
Okay. How about this one, though? Especially since we're talking about it. Final thoughts on the 2025 vintage, and if there's anything new that anybody is doing in 2025 around the table.
New as in
varietal or vineyard or.
Who, me first?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what?
Go Isabel first.
I can talk for 16600.
Great.
I think it's probably the best vintage I've seen so far since I've made the wines, at least in the style of wines I like to make. Very bright flavors, nice acidity, beautiful, like slightly sticky tannins, beautiful structure. The fruit is super pure, perfect amount of alcohol, which if you know how Phil likes to pick, can sometimes be tricky on the winemaking side. And then ever since we started making, canned wines and boxed wines, we're starting to play around with making very intentional, wines for that purpose. And so playing around with some carbos and, playing around with Zin as well in making it a more fun and approachable way, not necessarily super ripe. And that's been a lot of fun, kind of starting to make a lot of different wines with different, opportunities to drink them, more spontaneous wines and wines that are made to cellar for a really long time. So it's been a lot of fun playing around with that.
Oh, I'm so excited about this vintage. It's it's been my favorite.
I'm very happy with the wines that I made this year. I agree. The quality of the wines are outstanding. But I liken a lot of that to, the growers did a really good job this year. So I'm super excited about Sauvignon Blanc. Sam, you're liking yours? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very excited. Its aromatics are off the chart.
I know. I thought we were getting samples.
Oh, yeah. We were supposed to bring samples, weren't we?
Who's in charge?
We can do a field trip.
Let me find that note.
We'll have to re-record this episode anyway. Don't worry about it.
Please.
And again, Chenin Blanc, I'm super excited about this year. Probably
Bart, you make Chenin Blanc? It's been a really long time.
It has been a really long time.
You used to make it.
I know it's a long story, Isabel.
Okay.
The amazing thing is I have people. I still have people like, hey, do you have any 16? I'll take a couple bottles of 16. I'm like, I do. And
Is that Oprah's favorite wine?
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oprah Casey. Still getting action out of that also.
Yeah.
Obviously, here we are.
Yeah. Oprah's got weight.
So Brian already mentioned, but there will be a Jam de Bois Gamay that I did in a carbonic maceration style. That's fun and peppery and fruity, and I'm excited to release that.
When is that getting released?
So I'm going to bottle it end of February, so it'll probably be in the spring.
Cool.
And then I am very excited for our Rhone varietal and the Grenache Mourvèdre. And the Syrah I think is going to be great. And then so I had to make cab in a way that I've never made cab this year, where I brought it in. I had to bring it in early because of the rain from Moon Mountain. So it's not that I'm worried about it. It's just going to be a different wine that I'm used to making. And the way that I've been taught to make wine was not aligning. So I was excited to be at Annaba with the knowledge of Katie Wilson, because I think she tries to make her wines in that way. So it was great to have her to bounce ideas off of and taste wines with this year. But I am excited about it. But again, it was something different that that wasn't the original recipe. So it'll be fun to see how it turns out.
How did you make it differently?
Well, just because I brought it in at 23 bricks.
Okay.
And normally when I bring in a cab, it's above, 26, 27. And so, when I've been taught to use phenolics through working with Tony Biaggi and with Mark, you let the grape ripen on the vine, and then you kind of do tannin management in the tank by pump overs and stuff like that. So when it comes in at 23, I mean, it's a different ballgame. The skins aren't as ripe, and the tannins are a little bit more prevalent. And so, working in a new winery, the temperature, getting the glycol temperature up wasn't as easy as I thought it was. And it's a kind of a trial and error run. So I made the wine more like a low alcohol, early pick cab than what I normally do. So we'll see what the flavors turn out to be. I mean, I tried to do the best I could by tasting it and seeing where it was going to go, and still using all of my tools in my toolbox, but also being like, okay, this isn't working the same. This is different.
I mean, you need to embrace it, and this is what I got for the year. Obviously, you're thinking this way, and you will find your tribe. You will find people that will be like, "This is the best thing you've ever done, Danielle."
Yeah.
Well, no,
and it's just because that's the style that they like.
And it's exciting in winemaking because that's the thing. I mean, yesterday or 2 days ago, we recorded a podcast where we ended that wine is my teacher, right? And you should always be learning. And so this is this is a huge teaching moment for me, trying to make, I mean, it was a little bit 2023, but I feel like we got to hang the wines a lot longer in 2023. The rain didn't come till much later. So, yeah, it's just going to be a different cab, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So
maybe people want a different cab. One of my favorites from Moon Mountain is the Tidings.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's not a traditional Moon Mountain Cabernet.
No, I mean, it was probably picked at very similar numbers as what you got this year.
It was so pretty.
Maybe in a warmer year, but,
Yeah. All right. So with that, I have a question that comes in from one of my favorite things that ever happens is when there's a Som named Som. Som Riza from Atlanta. And he asked, this stupid new phone. Okay. What is a wine that said to you, quote, "No, this is not it," exclamation point? Was it the treatment, the grape, terroir, whatever it was about that, something that you made and you're like, no, that wasn't it?
kind of like a swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. Anybody want to cop to a fucking strikeout?
Oof.
Oh, like a wine that we made that really
They were like missed the mark, or
Oh,
but it
God,
went
yes.
for whatever reason. Like
Not one that we drank of somebody else's.
oh yeah, if I cheered on somebody else, bring it, Bart.
I mean, I completely failed one year in a wine I tried to make that was a lot of fun.
All right, bring it.
So, I exchanged a bunch with Jack many years ago about how to make, shooting around ideas about how to make skin contact white. And so I threw in the idea of making a carbo white because it would allow to have maybe a little more flavor and kind of not be as oxidative. And so he tried it out, loved it. It works great for him. I love the wine.
What did he do that way? Do you remember?
That's Fire Fuego.
That's Fire Fuego.
It's partially carbo white. The skin contact is carbonic.
Wait, is carbonic is
Sorry,
carbo.
carbo.
I know.
I'm new to
Carbonic.
Kids just
Sorry.
dropping carbo.
No, it's
How old are you, Danielle?
Well, I'm new to carbonic maceration.
no. That's
in
how
my
you say
career.
it. It's just in French, and my brain is
Number
still
vehicles with
adjusting.
carburetors. How about that, Bart?
I'm 42.
Anyway, so I get back home and I'm like, okay, I want to push the envelope and try going like fully 0-0, 100% natty white wine that would be skin contact. And so I pick it on purpose. Since this is 0-0, it means no acidification whatsoever, no sulfur, no yeast, no adding nutrients, nothing. And so I decide to pick super early in order to have some acid.
What variety?
And so I pick a tiny bit of Muscat, some Chardonnay, some Grenache Blanc, and some Grenache Gris. Very random. But the idea
Body
was
acid. I can see. I can see where you're going. Yeah, sweetness. Yeah.
Some mouthfeel. So it was mainly Grenache Blanc and Gris. Anyway, so I the ferment goes great. I taste it every day. Press it off after like 7 days. Barrel it down. It starts being really expressive, and it ends up being quite nice. Analytically, the pH is at 4, which is not a comfortable spot to be in. And I think it's at like 12% alcohol.
How is that possible?
It's almost a beer.
Carbonic maceration consumes a lot of acid, like a lot of it. So, you have to find a way of maintaining acid, and these Rhone varietals have very low total acidity in general. So, not next time I'll try it with like Uni Blanc or like something really, or Colombard, but this was not the right blend of varietals. But anyway, it was tasting great. Made 2 barrels of it, bottled it, only to then find out it was insanely mousy. But
So you bottled Cheerios.
bottled Cheerios, but it kept going. Like it was alive. So there were weeks where it would taste beautifully. When we first bottled it, it was incredibly good. Someone in Belgium bought like a pallet of it, and then little by little, mouse came out, and so we were like, okay, we can't sell any more of it, and tasted it again like 3 months later, and it was tasting beautifully. And then again, really just overall inconsistent, and more of a beer cider beverage than than white wine. So
wanna
I'm not
try
doing
this
that
now.
again.
I totally want to try this. Like, can we get some of this?
I don't know if we still have any. I think we popped corks and just got rid of it.
I can share a story of a wine that I thought that I just completely blew it on, and that was I got the Oscar block from the Idell family, and so it's a red field blend, right? But it's not Zinfandel heavy, and then the other varieties support it. It's 20% each of Grenache Zin, Petit Syrah, Mourvedre, and Carignan. And Richard was ready to pick because he was picking his other stuff, and so when it was picked, the Zinfandel.
When Richard tells you to do something, you do it.
Well, exactly, respectfully.
Fucking better.
He knows people. He can write let me just put it this way: he can write a mean letter. So anyway, so the Zinfandel was, as it should be, was ripe and was ready to go, and so if it was 90% Zin, the underripe other varieties would kind of balance it out, right? But in this case, with it being 20%, it had the bright fruit and aromatics from the Carignan, which seemed to carry everything, but it had the tannin of unripe Grenache.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
Right?
Ouch.
And it never really identified as any one variety, as you wouldn't expect it to. So I sold it for a while, and there were people that loved it and people that, just passed on it. Put it, 2019 this is, just kind of forgot it in the warehouse until about 3 months ago and pulled it out, and it started to come into a balance. Like the tannin has resolved enough that it's very drinkable and it has structure to it, but then also the aromatics and stuff, it's gone from just being this fruit bomb in aromatics and fruit flavor to have some more tertiary flavors, and it's just a more interesting, complex wine. But when I needed to sell it, it just wasn't selling. So
I feel like PAX had a wine like that a long time ago. It was like a 2008 Syrah. And when it became available for sale, or whatever, I think I was at the Girl in the Fig, it was like a 7 or 8 year old wine that had just become available for some reason. It was probably something like that where it was just massive and they just couldn't even sell it at first. They're just too grippy.
You remember the 2018 North Coast Grenache?
Yeah.
That was tight for a while.
For 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like you guys aren't giving examples of wines that really weren't it. These are like,
no, yours.
You guys have like success stories.
None of us should have actually said anything after.
Like yours is like a movie, right?
Yours wins. Yours wins.
Yeah,
No.
should just.
You haven't had like massive failures.
Well,
in
so the first time I tried to make the carbonic gamay,
Okay.
and I only had like 200 pounds of it.
Oh.
I tried to make it in a picking bin. I put a plastic over it and then ice and water to keep it, sealed up. And then everything went great. Oh, it was smelling good. It was tasting good. It was fermenting on its own. But I don't have a tiny ass tank to put it in to ferment it. Like after we pressed it and it went into tank to finish fermenting, and I had to put it in a 350 gallon tank. And then all of a sudden,
how many gallons do you have? Like 10?
Oh, like under 60.
Yeah.
And then I'm smelling it and I'm like, this is starting to smell a little like nail polish. And so I'm texting people being like, this is a little nail polish. They're like, oh, it's the native yeast. That'll blow off. It's the native yeast. It's the native yeast. So I just let it go instead of just throwing yeast in it like I should have. And because there was even though I was trying to manage the, oxygen in the tank space, it just completely went to nail polish. So we had to put 60 gallons in the lees bin because it had the mouthfeel was awesome. The front fruit was awesome, but the finish was nail polish. Eesh. So and that was our first attempt at making the gamay. It was the first pick off the gamay. So I had to pay for fruit that we couldn't use, and
good thing there was only 200 pounds.
Well, yeah, no, that's true, and it was an experiment, but now we're over at Annaba, and now that I'm paying to make my wine and not making it for free, I get my choice of what tanks there are. And she makes a lot of carbonic maceration stuff, so it's like she has tanks specifically designed for that, and the knowledge of doing it for how long she's done it, 5-10 years. So all right. But yeah, that was my massive fail.
Okay. You awake with $100,000 to spend on something that makes your wine better. What is it?
$100,000.
This very nice listener
An assistant.
sent a number of.
I was gonna say a vacation.
I think like just a bunch of new. I would go invested in barrels for like have a 5-year plan of barrel purchases.
What a fucking practical answer.
Sorry.
No,
She's got to take care of the business side now.
Thank God.
Square tanks. Who was that we were having the conversation with about the square tanks that they liked
That's
using?
Jenny Murphy.
That was
who will be recording
Yeah.
with this afternoon.
Because I thought that was really interesting.
Can you stack them?
Yeah. I mean, the ones that I've used, you can.
But there was something different in the winemaking because she had corners to it.
They were like the dairy tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
she said
those
she was
aren't
getting
square. Those are.
She's getting different aromatics. They're more like rectangular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're curved. They're not square. They're curved. I mean, dairy tanks are like this.
Well,
but the top. Yeah.
Right.
She was saying that the air contact.
We'll be able to ask these questions shortly.
Right. It'll be on next episode or the last episode or some episode soon. Yeah. I think
another one would be really good
some
automated
concrete?
Temperature control.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
What about concrete eggs?
I already have them.
And do you do Grenache in them?
We only make whites in them, so we have white Carignan and then Broussard.
You never wanted to throw some Grenache in there?
We have Grenache in concrete, regular tanks.
Okay.
Works
Not in the
great.
eggs, right.
But we already have a lot of sweetness on it. So the Roussan, we have a vineyard in the south of the Appellation that's on super high lime sandy soils, and so we end up having wines with really, really bright acid, sometimes a little too much acid, so very dynamic. And so the eggs, allow to bring some roundness and a little more suppleness to the wines. Versus the Grenache from there, we like to keep it kind of zingy. It's got kind of this citrusy side to it that we like to keep. But love the concrete eggs. They're great. They keep your wine really turbid, very leesy throughout the year, which is the whole point.
Vortex that happens in there naturally.
Yeah, naturally. At first you're like, really? Does it? Like you always question things. But when you see the wine that you're tasting, it's very, very cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's very cloudy, and you can taste the bitterness of the lees. So sometimes you have to focus on what it brings. Namely the mouthfeel that it brings. You can't focus too much on the texture, because that will, if you're better off pulling a sample, putting it in a fridge overnight and tasting it the next day, just so that it precipitates a bit and you can taste it.
I remember that was
clear.
Mike Benziger that was trying to explain that to me one year about the vortex that was happening in the egg. I just thought maybe they just smoked a little too much.
I mean,
or that it's a
I'm
marketing
like, how did
thing.
you? But how do you know?
You see it.
you. Yeah, but did someone, I'm sure at some point, stick a little camera down in there and watch?
Well, there's chemistry or there's math that goes into fluid dynamics.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's more of a proven thing than a visual thing.
Okay.
The fluid dynamics math is a big concept for any of us, but let alone the Petaluma High School versions.
I mean, for me, fluid dynamics is, can you get a siphon?
Yeah, fair, okay.
Right? And I know every one of you that's worked in the winery before has had a hard time getting the siphon.
Or
and it's
ended up
about
with a
fluid
mouthful of
dynamics.
wine.
It's like, it's got to be higher and lower. It's got to be, you
I
need
had
head
those
pressure.
classes in college and was terrible at it. And I like math and physics, but that really too complicated.
My worst siphon ever was interning, and I got a lungful of juice. like not fermented wine yet, still juice. I was trying to siphon it. I felt like I was going to die.
I can top that. I got a lung full of high proof.
Ow.
Let me just say, I thought I was going to die, but the afternoon wasn't bad.
Yeah. Then you were wasted.
I got tipsy for the first time by siphoning with my grandmother when I was like 10.
Yeah, right.
Because she used to make what we call orange wine, which is like rosé that you then macerate with bitter oranges, different types of citrus, some spices like cinnamon and vanilla. It's typical from Northern Africa where they were based originally. And so
Is there going to be some of that at the wedding? That sounds freaking delicious.
we want to make some. We bought a bunch of citrus. I planted a bunch of bitter oranges, but it's going to take a while. But so hopefully we'll have some as a nod to my grandmother. But anyway, she would do them in those big containers that I don't know how you call them. We call them damigens.
Demijohns.
How do you call them?
Demijohns.
Demijohns.
It's the same word, clearly.
Yeah.
Demijohns.
And so we would siphon them and bottle them. And that was how she got tipsy for the first time with her grandmother. And she did the same thing to me. It was really fun. It's a great memory.
All right. I have a request. Someone's requesting that we get Mick Unti on the show, and I know we've talked about it for a while.
If you're listening, come on down.
Let's see, just real
MJ
quick.
asks, have you guys checked out the Totally Biased Wine Reviews Top 100 list yet?
Oh boy.
Yes, I actually saw those last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally, completely biased, but
It is.
as long as you're on the list, it's a great list.
Right. It's a great name. It really is.
And great music.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a good job with that. Let's see.
Should I get any of Kevin's 10,000 questions?
Okay, here's one that, because it is the holidays, what are your favorite holiday food and wine traditions? And what are you having that you're excited about?
All right, I'm jumping in right now because I've been inundated for the last 2 weeks with caviar and latke content.
Wah.
I know, my life is so difficult. So last night we did caviar on our latkes with a bottle of Chablis and a bottle of champagne that I bought from Lyle Foss, and that shit was killer. That is a new tradition forever. Latkes, caviar, at least once a Hanukkah.
There you go.
Bust out a bottle of champagne, but I'll probably do it more than once. We still have 5 days, so I'm gonna do it at least one more time this week.
I'm crashing.
Yeah, no, I know. You haven't had a Hanukkah celebration, right?
Ever.
Right. This is the year we did it with Coral last night. One of Althea's friends on night 1 or 2. So here we're bringing in the Gentiles to some Hanukkah celebrations this year.
And Gentiles bring caviar.
And yeah, exactly. If you want to come, bring
know
caviar.
it's good for you.
Bring caviar. We'll let you light candles. That's how this deal works.
Sweet deal.
Any other ones? Should we go try to okay, all of
Yeah.
Kevin's?
Yeah.
There's some good ones. There's some. Kevin and Kelly are in Germany right now, so that I think we hit them at nighttime, and they were having fun. So Kevin wants to know, is there a critic that aligns with any of our palates?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to say Audrey Frick and Jeb Dunnick.
All right.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that mostly.
I've not had my wines ever looked at from anybody.
No, but I think not necessarily your wines, but just in general. Somebody that you read and go, yeah, I agree about that wine that person wrote about.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me think about it.
You know what I liked, though, was the Vine Pair top 50 wines.
Yeah.
What I liked about their list is that it was some of the stuff we had, like Violet's Paradise,
right.
But it was cool because it was all different stuff. Normally when you see those top 50 lists, it's the top producer in Bordeaux, the top producer in Italy. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Petrus made the top 10 this year. Holy shit.
Wow.
Right.
Fucking A. But it was cool to see such a variety of different things. And even wines from Virginia and Maryland. So all over the United States, the 00, my new favorite Chardonnay.
If we keep mentioning it on the show, we'll
maybe
eventually.
they'll send us some.
He's literally
That'd be cool if they
mentioned the
came
last,
too, but we just take
10
bottles.
podcasts.
It was so good. Yeah. We need some of that.
I think that you know, this is my plug to all these people because they come and you have to kind of follow them all for different things. Like if I want to learn about Italian wine, I'm looking at what Gallone's doing. If I want to see what's happening Rhone wise, I'm probably looking at Jeb. Yeah. You know, there's sort of like strengths and also preferences. I mean, they're human beings. So I think it's just sort of like you kind of got to take the kaleidoscope of wine reviews, and find out what aligns with you. But it's not going to be this one person. Everything that they like, I like, because they might have different opinions on, you know, whether it's Italian wine or Spanish wine or French wine or South American. You know, right. I think that it's more difficult than saying yes, this person is my person.
I also like to drink wines that my friends like to serve me. So.
Right. Well, I like the ones that give me the best scores. Those are my favorite critics.
I mean, I guess for me, it's the wines I drink.
They're smart.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. The wines that I drink, I guess what I need to do is I need to follow through and see what the people. I drink a bottle of wine. I don't then go and see what the critics said about it.
Yeah.
And maybe I should do that to see.
You also have your own opinion, and
that's what I mean.
You're
to see
well
if they
versed
align
in
or not.
wines.
Right.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know?
Then you could find someone who maybe is like that. But I think also when you start drinking enough wine, or you have enough wine available to you, like we do,
right?
Then maybe we're not seeking the recommendations of.
I know we're our own critics.
We're our own critics.
Totally.
Whereas people who don't have the same access that we do to, you know, I mean, there's never a night at my house where I don't have a bottle of wine that I can drink if I want to, or like I have an array of wine I can bring to friends' houses all the times. We have very knowledgeable people in wine shops everywhere. Like we live at like kind of like the Mecca,
That's
right?
Concentration. Yeah.
So, you know, but people who don't have that definitely need to rely on, you know, what at my wine shop, since I'm totally overwhelmed, is going to be great. And so
I guess I wonder, sorry, I wonder why, I wonder what our listeners, who they agree with and who don't agree with.
Better agree with us.
And, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do think every critic the ones you mentioned, and every critic out there has, you know, a terrific palate, and even if it doesn't necessarily align perfectly with the wines we like to drink, I think if you're in a very big store, like, you know, Total Wines, for example, and you have scores that are given by Jeb or the Wine Spec or the Wine Advocate, you know, those are really helpful. And, you know, if they really scored highly a wine, you can, you know, rely on it, which is super convenient. But I think if you are really into wine, the best people to trust is like, you know, your local wine shop owner. Or for me, my favorite wine critic is actually the owner of my favorite restaurant back home. Yeah. Everything she chooses to put on her wine list is incredible, and she always has me discover new wines, and they're always aligned with the wines I like. They go beautifully with the food, and that's where I discover most of the wines I like to drink.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, support your wine critics, but also support your local businesses.
I mean, to be honest, that's
I think that's
my
great.
Lyle Fass experience.
Yeah. I mean, you can go in and just say, this is the wine I like. Like, you could be Brian and say, I want no oak Chardonnay.
I want Straub that I'm going to drink 17 years too early.
Baby killer.
And they'll know what to do. You know, they'll know what to suggest to you. So.
And the high scoring wines, you know, I feel like there is a little bit of a glass ceiling in a lot of these publications, and oftentimes the really high scoring wines are fairly expensive wines and aren't really accessible to everybody, when there are so many incredible wines out there that are under $25, you know, and that can be memorable and
but
really help.
One high scores charge more.
We've had this conversation before, kind of adjacently. It's like, you know, if a critic is tasting $20 Chardonnays or $25 Cabernets, can there be a 98 point
That's what I'm saying.
Wine
That's
at
why I
that
like that
level.
Vine pair list, is because I don't think it should be based on the price. If you're doing true blind tastings, then you're kind of really relying on that critic's palate, because maybe they liked a $13 Chenin Blanc from Harmeyer, and then maybe a Paul Hobbs Chardonnay from Russian River scored below it. It was
$13 for a half a glass.
Right.
$26.
Okay.
But there's just so much wine out there that people don't know about. That's what upsets me, is that that's why I like lists like that, and critics to do lists like that, to kind of showcase smaller wineries that people would never know about.
I want to taste Maryland Malbec.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was their number one wine.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's not a video. This podcast.
You've been to Maryland?
I grew up going to Maryland every summer.
You did?
I spent every summer from age 0 to 16.
That's
where my grandfather lived.
Malbec.
There you go. Not
Not
drinking
drinking
Malbec.
Malbec.
All right. We got to wrap up.
And we got to wrap up. We have our first return guest in the studio
Who can actually talk
but I don't
about
think we can
100
possibly
point wines.
we can't possibly wrap a 2025 wrap and whatever the fuck this is without the shout outs. The one shout out that we have to make, which is John. This was a crazy year in lots of ways, but we got to give it all to John. We're doing this 7 years into it, 400 episodes into it, because of him and his drive and his friendship and his love of the wines that we make and the wines that we brought to him and all of it.
And the people who make the wines.
And the people that make the wines and how they all pair so well with some chicken thighs and a giant pile of.
And we need more Johns, people that are curious and willing to try anything and then find something and buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
In bulk.
And
thank God.
It's nice to have Joan, his wife, still comes in here periodically, buys wine, and it's great because she seems to always show up at the same time John did. It's a Saturday at like 2:00. We're packed.
35
There's nowhere
people
to sit, and she just kind of walks in, doesn't call, doesn't text, and then just starts talking to people. Hey, where are you guys from? So it's nice that she's continuing the family tradition.
Here's to you, John.
Cheers.
Let's get events out of the way. We got just one.
It's Marty O'Reilly.
Marty O'Reilly, New Year's Eve.
And then apparently there's a conference that's important in Monterey.
Well,
did DTC something? I don't know what it stands for. I hope you're not listening anymore, Barbara.
She is. You know you're screwed.
I know.
Direct to consumer symposium is going on, and so we're all going down. Danielle, this is going to be her first
DTC
first ride, but it's January 20th through the 22nd. You can still get tickets. There is that event we've been talking about where you can go hang out at the aquarium. And we're doing cocktails in with the jellyfish.
I think we're gonna walk around with a recorder at that show, aren't we?
That'd be kind of cool.
All right. If we're not supposed to, we're going to anyway.
Santa Lucia Highlands is sponsoring an AVA tasting with 8 wineries pouring. One of them is Roar, which I've had those wines, but a lot of Bernardus, actually too. Opening night event January 20th. You can get tickets at
DTCwine.com or just Google.
Just Google DTC Symposium.
Just call Barbara.
It's an incredible hotel. It's right on a golf course if you're interested.
My husband will be playing golf, so you can go play golf with Dan.
Cool bar scene.
Wait, there's other reasons to go?
Well, you know what was fun?
It's Monterey.
What was really cool last year is that
not Concord.
Meeting people in the bar. Remember, Bart, that were like from random states around the country that would say, "Oh yeah, we listen to the reason we're here is because we listened to your show and you guys talked about the direct to consumer symposium, so we're here."
Well, and the timing of it being right after the Unified Symposium is perfect.
Before this year.
Right before
this
year.
So at least, people from places other than here have a reason to come out for 2 events.
Come spend a couple weeks in California.
And then go to Eco.
And it's wherever it's way better to be here in January than Iowa.
Are you saying that because I'll be in Iowa in January?
Yes.
You can report back.
Yeah. Let me know if my prediction comes true.
Yeah. What else? What else we got? You got Bart? Anything with the?
No. I mean,
Valley vendors and growers.
So Spring Sips is February 15th to March 15th. I've already heard people say they're just going to run it even longer, which is wineries will be signed up. There'll be a website to access to the list, $15 tastings. In the off season, just try to encourage people to come up and try something new. Don't be afraid to go to a new winery and see what they got.
And I know there's a lot of talk going around right now about tasting rooms being open a little bit earlier. So Mark Bodenhammer, who's
a little later.
A little later. Sorry. Well, yeah, right. Maybe
8 a.m.
open.
tastings.
Yeah. But it's weird.
That's what we do.
Auto for breakfast.
Cabernet and Colgate.
I know we get people in here at 10:30, but he's talking about maybe places start opening up at 12 and then being open until 7. So kind of getting those people that are going out to dinner but want to stop and do a tasting before going to dinner. So we'll see where it all goes because it's all got to be legal and all that kind of crap
Sometimes.
Right. And I think for people that are on the square, it makes a lot of sense because if you're waiting for a table at the Girl in the Fig or EDK or something, then you want to kill a half an hour and you want to go do a
springtime sip or whatever it is.
Spring Sips.
Spring sips.
Spring sips.
Thank you for a great year, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
See you soon.
See you in Monterey.
Hell yeah.